With Lightfall less than 1 month away, I wanted to cover a highly requested topic in the comments of recent videos. Whether you've procrastinated, are returning to Destiny after an extended break, or are raid prepping for the very first time, today I'll be covering how anyone can prepare for Lightfall before it drops on February 28th. I'm Above, and if you enjoyed today's video, a like and subscription would be greatly appreciated. Now, let's get into it. Before we dive into the tips, let's discuss why bounty prep is important in the first place. First off, the best artifact mods are locked behind nothing more than XP gains, and until they change the leveling system, the best way to get XP is simply by doing bounties. Seeing that the seasonal story has concluded, GMs are several weeks in at this point, and PvP exists, I guess, we're gonna have some downtime in Destiny before the new expansion. So if we can use this time to our advantage by preparing millions of XP for ourselves, why not? Second, we all want to have fun with the new stuff. And if you care about the day one raid race even a little bit, you're going to want those top tier artifact mods to help you compete. So the more prep we can do ahead of time, the more time we can spend having fun with the brand new Strand subclasses, new exotic weapons and armor, testing out heavy weapon changes, finding new builds, and just enjoying the new content. So where do we start? Welcome to Destiny Recipes. Some of you may already know about this tool, and some may not, but this website is the perfect place to track your progress leading up to Lightfall. This website is a one-stop shop that guides your preparation progress, including key resources, bounties, and stored XP progression. You'll start by logging in on the top right, simply by linking your Bungie account to the Destiny Recipes website. And once you've done that, you can click the checklist tab on the top left, and it will bring you to your personalized preseason checklist. The first thing you'll see on this page is your current prep score in the top left-hand corner. This number is based on 3 key components, which are your current resource levels, the amount of stored XP that you have, aka your bounty storage, and the vault space you have available for new gear in Lightfall. As you can see, I currently have a prep score of 655, which Destiny Recipes considers to be overly prepared. And I promise that by the end of this video, you'll be able to get fully prepared for Lightfall as well. Next to our prep score, we have a section that showcases your stored XP. And as you guys can see, I will be level 17 on day 1 of the new season as it stands right now. And I still have plenty of prep that I can do before Lightfall to push this number into the mid-20s. On the far right, it will also take your current stored XP amount and calculate how many artifact mods you can expect to have unlocked on the first day of the DLC, and even showcases your expected power bonus from the artifact as well. Now let's dive into everyone's favorite topic, bounties. There are hundreds of different bounty sources in Destiny 2, which makes it tough to know which ones you should prioritize and which ones you should ignore altogether. I like to start by clicking Show Bounties, which will reveal all of the bounty sources available to you on each character. Completed bounties will be highlighted, and any you haven't completed will be dimmed out. This gives you a nice overview of where you can go to start your bounty prepping journey, and once you've made progress, you can even uncheck this box to get a clear view of the bounties you've completed on each character. As you can see here, my Titan is much further along than my Hunter or Warlock as it stands right now. As I mentioned earlier, bounties are the key to unlocking powerful artifact mods as quickly as possible. There are a total of 26 weekly bounties that you can save per character, and these should be your first priority. Each of these will grant 12,000 XP, which is double the value of a daily bounty. So the more that we can fill our inventory with weeklies, the better off we'll be. One will come from Xur and the Dares of Eternity, and though Destiny Recipes shows additional weekly bounties from the 30th anniversary, you can only ever hold one of these at a time. We also have 2 weekly bounties that come from Shahan in the Cosmodrome, 4 weekly bounties on the Moon, 2 from Eris, and 2 from the Lectern, and we also have 4 weekly bounties on Europa, including a one-and-done public event bounty and 3 Empire hunts that rotate weekly. There are also 7 weekly bounties that come from Petra in the Dreaming City, 1 from the Blind Well, and 6 that come from a weekly rotating cycle of Ascendant challenges. The XP from Dreaming City bounties used to be bugged, but they have been fixed and now reward normal XP values. And lastly, if you have a clan, you can collect up to 8 weekly bounties that rotate randomly in Hawthorne's inventory each week. Some of these clan bounties are significantly more annoying than others, looking at you, 10 Games of Gambit, so you'll have to weigh which ones are worth your time. At the point of this video's release, you should still be able to collect 24 of the 26 available weekly bounties as long as the clan bounty RNG is on your side. If you do these on all 3 characters, this should get you to around season rank 10, and we haven't even touched daily bounties yet. Each of your characters has 63 quest slots available to them. This includes both your quest log and your bounties, which means the more quests you can finish up before Lightfall, the more bounties you can hold on each character for additional XP. I recommend holding 63 bounties on 2 characters and 60 on your main character, giving you room to pick up quest lines such as the main story, seasonal content, and the artifact quest. The final slot should be filled with any daily bounties you can find that are not tied to any seasonal content, as these will disappear going into the new year, leaving you with tons of lost XP. So anything from the helm is a massive no-no. And if you'd like to optimize even further, there are 2 approaches you can take. The first is to collect 7 daily bounties from each tower vendor and turn them in on the first day of the expansion. This will put you just 1 bounty away from the weekly powerful engram, which not only gives you a power boost, it also grants you an additional 12,000 XP per character. Do not hold 8 of these, however, as it will lower the powerful engram to this season's power thresholds. The second option, and the one that I prefer personally, is to avoid daily bounties from the tower vendors altogether. You'll naturally complete Gunsmith, Crucible, Gambit, and Strike bounties as you power level to conquer new content. If you complete them now, you won't be able to reacquire them the day that Lightfall drops, meaning you just lose out on those XP gains altogether. I like to substitute these for daily bounties from destinations like Nessus, the EDZ, and the Cosmodrome, for example, as it's pretty unlikely that we'll spend any time here on the first day of a DLC. So stacking these bounties instead allows you to double dip with daily bounties from vendors in the tower. In terms of material prep, you want to make sure that you're stocked up on legendary shards, upgrade modules, ascendant shards, prisms, and enhancement cores. And one thing that Destiny recipes does not show are ascendant alloys, which I would absolutely add to the list, seeing that crafted weapons have become a staple of Destiny. With that said, upgrade modules may be the most important item here, as they're used constantly to infuse gear throughout your power climb in Lightfall. I highly recommend maxing this resource out, as it will allow you to bring all your favorite weapons and armor up to the day 1 raid power standards. And a fun little tip is that you can use these modularity mods on your Ghost while grinding playlist activities to give you a chance at upgrade modules at the end of each activity completion. And though the chance is low, having some extra upgrade modules in your postmaster is never a bad thing. Ascendant shards and prisms are one of the most commonly used resources in the game, and Grandmaster Nightfalls are by far the best source for these, as they're guaranteed on each completion. You can also obtain these from Master Dungeons, which I know a ton of you will be farming next week with Master Duality returning. And by the way, if you don't have a fire team, I'll be streaming Master Duality helps all week long at twitch.tv/above, so be sure to swing by for some God-rolled armor and some Ascendant shards. Enhancement cores are another material that people tend to struggle with, but there's actually a quick trick that you can use to stack as many enhancement cores as you'd like. If you go to collections, then go to armor and scroll down to leveling, you're gonna head to the final page and pull this blue gear from collections. This will pull at level 5 by default and will cost 3 enhancement cores, a few legendary shards, and some glimmer to get it to level 8. And when you dismantle them, you'll get 6 cores in return. So you're literally just doubling your cores for virtually no effort whatsoever. Next up, we have Spoils of Conquest. If you guys are raiders and have a team to farm spoils with, you can hold 240 in your inventory at any given time. You can also hold an additional 240 in your postmaster on each character, and can cash these in at the final raid chest in Lightfall for a much higher chance at God god-rolled raid weapons. The Daughters of Oryx are the best spoil farm in the game currently, and I'll link my video showcasing this farm down in the description below. As for Paraversal Halls and Dawning Gifts, neither are necessary in my personal opinion. Though Paraversal Halls can help with min-maxing gear leveling, I find it wildly unnecessary due to the powerful gear drops that you get from simply completing the legendary campaign. Dawning Gifts also no longer reward XP, so you can feel free to get rid of these. Glimmer is also extremely important because infusing new weapons, armor, and masterworking new god rolls is extremely expensive, so you'll want to have extra Glimmer sources on hand to restock as you burn through it in the new expansion. You can now exchange planetary materials for Glimmer at Rahul in the tower, or store legacy sparrows and ships in your vault. I like to use the other side sparrow from Season 3, but there are several other options you can use as well. If you want an in-depth explanation of how this works, feel free to check out my previous raid prep guides, but I imagine that for most of you, Glimmer is the least of your concerns. That pretty much does it for Destiny recipes, so I now want to shift my focus to weapon crafting. I uploaded a video earlier this season covering my top 10 must-craft weapons before Lightfall, and I highly recommend checking that video out if you haven't already. Witch Queen seasonal content will be vaulted with the launch of Lightfall, so you'll want to make sure that you unlock all of the craftable weapon patterns that you care about before February 28th rolls around, especially since Bungie recently made a quality of life change that allows you to focus red border weapons from each vendor on a daily basis instead of weekly, which means these patterns will never be easier to unlock than they are right now. To craft these weapons, you'll obviously need crafting materials to do so, which is why I recommend taking the time to clear any red borders in your vault and farming up some Ascendant alloys. The weekly featured legendary campaign mission and Master Wellspring are solid sources for these. Last but not least, the final topic I want to cover today is how you should approach day 1 of Lightfall. We spent all this time and energy preparing, and now it's time to make it count. First off, Dim will likely be incredibly unstable during the opening day of the expansion, so you'll want to have your favorite weapons transferred to your main character the day prior. This includes any newly buffed weapons that you want to test out, or old reliables like Gallarhorn. This way, you can have all of your favorite weapons available to you for the legendary campaign without having to manually transfer them between characters. When you finally get past the inevitable day 1 expansion queues, select your main character and you'll likely get hit with a cutscene that loads you into the opening mission. Complete this, then head to the tower. Before turning in any bounties, locate the seasonal artifact quest, which was located in the tower hangar last year, and complete the opening mission to acquire the seasonal artifact. Once the seasonal artifact is confirmed on your character, you want to make sure that you have the blinding light mod equipped on your ghost. This gives you a 12% bonus to all XP gains, which adds up quickly when dealing with millions of stored XP. And since Bungie is revitalizing the armor and mod system in Lightfall, this may be called something else or located somewhere else, but regardless, don't turn in your bounties until you have this mod or its new equivalent equipped. You want to make sure that you're in a fire team for the shared wisdom bonuses that you get at season pass ranks 5 and 7. You could purchase the first 10 levels of the seasons pass to unlock these bonuses immediately, and though this is the most optimal strategy, I can't personally recommend this. Now, simply dump your bounties, swap characters, and repeat this process 2 more times. Just make sure that the shared wisdom buff is visible each time you rejoin your fire team, and that you have a blinding light mod equipped on each character. If you do this correctly, you could reach as high as level 30 in the seasons pass before ever leaving the tower. This will also grant you roughly 12 artifact mods, which will be massive for both the legendary campaign and the day 1 raid race. As for leveling, the power grind is much more straightforward these days thanks to the legendary campaign. Though you shouldn't have problems hitting the day 1 power cap, there are several ways you can optimize leveling to get your power as high as possible heading into raid day. You'll want to start on your main character, in this case my hunter, and finish the legendary campaign. You'll then repeat this process on your 2 alt characters, which will bring all 3 of them beyond the Lightfall soft cap. If If you want to dive into new content after playing through the campaign the first time, definitely feel free to do so. But this is the most optimal way to grind power in my personal opinion. Now repeat this process with weekly powerfuls and pinnacles with your main character first, then your alts, and the last character you play that week should be your highest powered character. You'll then reverse this order in week 2, which will result in my main character being the highest heading into raid day. And that's it. I know this was a ton of information, but hopefully I made it easy enough to follow along. If you have any questions about the prep process, feel free to ask them in the comments down below. Thank you all so much for watching, and if you guys found this guide useful, a like and subscription would be greatly appreciated. I can't freaking wait to battle those crazy looking tormentors roaming around Numina in just a few weeks' time. So make sure to let me know what you're most excited about down in the comments below. Anyways guys, that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.